Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Welcome to our show. Lots going on in the cannabis world today. It's crumbling, it's tumbling, it's flying, it's flipping. It's a regular acrobatic circus out there. How about those Chronos shares, Edward?
Something's
not right.
Well, look. You know, you got trillion. How much money is out in the world? There's so many pools of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
That you can play games. I mean, you can look at this thing.
Yeah.
We saw very unusual activity. Didn't Dan say?
Yeah.
We've had in an hour or two what we normally have in a week.
Well, in all after hours trading. Unusual activity and volume in the
options.
And the options
during regular.
But according to one analyst I spoke to, nothing out of the ordinary. Irregular, anyways.
Well,
there's a lot of consensus. So I've been talking to guys all day about it because I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure it out. And it seems to be that guys were just like 42% of the book was short.
The float is short.
So the guys waded into the aftermarket to put on the short squeeze and freaked guys out. And those are the ones covering with the big 500,000.
It did open high enough. So if you
So there's the thing. You forced an aftermarket short squeeze.
Well, you moved it up, and it opened there.
Well, then they shorted it because there was no news on the way down. How brilliant is that? That is what you call a brilliant trade strategy.
Well, they're all brilliant in retrospect.
Well, the ones that work are. The ones that don't work, you don't even notice those.
Yeah,
Nobody reports the planes that land.
Nobody reports the planes that land. Yeah. How was your flight? If I'm talking.
Exactly. It wasn't that bad.
I'm here.
Other interesting developments in cannabis land. Dionymed is received a notice of default on its debt.
No, you don't say. Can't they just raise some more money?
Well, maybe not in this market. Maybe it's not a lot of takers for debt and equities that have lost 80% of their value since they started trading. Maybe not. And interestingly, Dionymed, in my book, I had a higher expectation of performance even in the circumstance of the markets that we're in now because of the association with Silicon Valley that was represented to us by the people around that deal.
Really?
Yes. So,
So maybe
it wasn't all that. Maybe there was some forward-looking statements at the earliest stages that didn't quite pan out to be...
Yeah. Hexo came out and said they're going after the black market.
Well, we saw them nudge that price point yesterday.
There's quite a lengthy piece on a certain website that I use, and basically the headline was they want to make the black market cringe.
Single-handedly, eh?
I don't know. They've not, and they got new products. They got lots of cash, or do they have lots of cash?
They've got lots of cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've got tons of cash.
So we got some are up, some are down, some haven't moved. Hexo is off. There it is. I tried to buy it twice and lost money both times, thinking I could find the bottom. Today, not in at the open, and it's up 53 cents as we speak, which is about 13-14%.
Well,
big move.
Yeah, no doubt, eh?
Okay.
Well, looking at the large cap index here. Wait a sec. Where's the old NDI? There we go. Oops, where'd it go? Large cap index is up 2.96% today, led by Canopy Growth Corporation. Is up big, but look at Hexo down here is up 15.69%. Now, Ed, you were telling me that you were going to go long Hexo, and you did.
I did a couple times and got out real quick because I was scared.
You were early in the trade.
And today, wasn't in, and I looked, it was at 3, I think by the time I finally did pull the trigger, I bought some stock today at 366.
Oh, you're doing all right by that trade.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's not over. Like
That's true.
You've said, it's not over till the lady sings.
Right. So Canopy Growth is up 83 cents, 3.19%, the bellwether of the entire sector.
What's the number? What's the
26.85.
Okay.
Aurora Cannabis tacked on 25 cents, up 5.27% today to $4.99. Sounds like it's on special. Here today only, $4.99, blue plate special.
You can never, if you disregard the short power out there, and when there's a big short, and they start to cover, and the only reason they cover is what makes them scared, losing their money, and then, the shorts cover, they cover it, it starts moving up, more shorts cover, the longs get courageous, they go in, making the shorts even more crazy. So, you got to be careful. It goes both ways,
You don't want to have you buy the short and curlies, do they? Anyways, the Chronos Group, as we've been talking, subject to some very strategic trading and market manipulation is what that is outright market manipulation. Mind you, you could make the case that if you're an investor and you believe in the company, that of course you're going to put $2 or $3 million in aftermarket.
Well, and you know what? At the bottom, it looks like shit.
Right.
And so we look surprised. But there's somebody out there that says, oh, it's the bottom. And I'm excited because I'm going to employ my capital at dirt cheap prices. And here it is. It's moving. And you think, no, it can't be. And then before you know it, it'll be a month from now. And it is a 1 year anniversary tomorrow, isn't it? So
Today, actually.
I thought it was the 18th, but
I thought it was the 17th.
I thought it was the 18th.
Today.
17th. I stand corrected.
All right. No
What day
worries.
was it yesterday?
Yesterday was yesterday. 16th.
Okay.
Day after Thanksgiving, I believe.
Look.
No, 2 days after.
Markets go up, markets go down. If it went one way, we'd all be
My market
rich.
only goes up. Anyways,
Your value may only go up.
Of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 stocks trading on the Midas Letter Canadian Large Cap Index, all but 14 out of 16 are in the green. And what does that mean when 14 of 16 are in the green?
What does it mean?
What does it mean? It means maybe there's a reversal in a way.
You know what? These things happen when it looks ugly.
Oh, I thought you were going to say these things happen for a reason.
Well, look. I mean, maybe. Like we saw now. Again, we did some analysis on the Afria, and it looks like there's some questions.
Yes.
But there are some good companies. Trueleaf, your buddy there that we talk to on a regular basis. I can't think of his name right now, but he was on yesterday, and he said Trueleaf is certainly a company that's firing on all cylinders.
Mr. Brockstein.
Yeah, Mr. Brockstein.
Yeah, he says lots of gas in the tank on Trueleaf.
Yeah.
Which is one of our top picks in our newsletter.
Absolutely. TRUL. I want to see if is that up to date. Up to date or up to date?
Up to date. Anyways, so the only stocks that are down is Curaleaf is down 0.12% or 1 penny to 8.25. It barely even qualifies as down. Cresco Labs is down 3.74%, down 32 cents. Those are the only two companies not participating in the rush to the upside among large caps. And then let's take a look at what's going on here among the small caps, or rather on the venture index. MetaPharm Labs leading the charge to the upside. The index of all companies trading in Canada in the cannabis space above $100 million in market cap, below $500 million in market cap, are on this. Oh, sorry, no, this is the venture index. These are all the companies that trade on the venture exchange. MetaPharm Labs up 2.43% to 422. Oxley Cannabis up a penny, 1.41% to 72. Do I sound like I'm calling a horse race?
You do.
I'm trying to.
And that's when you say, and here comes toilet paper up the rear.
Here comes toilet paper up the rear. That's a good one.
Yeah, there's a joke there.
Yeah, I gathered that.
Toilet paper up the rear. Nothing like a little toilet paper up the rear.
Anyways, Relevium Technologies, after being on our show yesterday, is up 37.5%, 2 cents to 6 cents. G-Tech Holdings tacked on 20%, which was actually only a nickel to bring it up to 26 cents. Let's reload this so that we have it ordered by market cap. Valens Growworks is up 2.8% to 329 after yesterday's positive report on its quarter, up 9 cents to 329. Pharmaciello down 3 cents, 0.75%. The Flour Corporation off 3 cents, down 1.3. But again, looking at that whole list, we're seeing a majority of the companies are in the green, but less decisively so than in the large caps. So what we have today is a reversal in the across the whole cannabis space, being led by the large cap cannabis companies.
You know what stock's pretty that I don't follow closely, but when I see it go by, RIV went by here, RIV.
Yes.
That was up 17 cents today.
RIV went by in the river. Canopy Rivers. Yeah, Canopy Rivers is up. Good point. You know who was here? Have you ever used WikiLeaf?
WikiLeaf?
WikiLeaf.
I thought it was WikiLeak.
WikiLeaks is another thing.
Oh, this is another one.
This is WikiLeaf.
Never used it.
You've never used it? Have you heard of it?
No.
Check it out, wikileaf.com.
Okay.
Now, this is where you can go if you want to price compare cannabis in your neighborhood. I've got the site up in front of me right now. And so you can see who's selling what in each of these dispensaries for what price.
Okay.
So before you go shopping, you can go WikiLeafing. Anyways, the founder of the company is Dan Nelson, and he joined us for a conversation about his company.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He'll be here tomorrow.
Well, I was, when you had the list there of what's coming up, he wasn't on. I'm thinking this is good. We got a guy coming on.
I didn't actually look at that list.
Yeah, well, that's why it's there.
Oh, I see it. I see it there now.
In the future, it's a bit of a clue.
Yeah, I wasn't actually looking at that or talking about it. Usually that's the clue.
Okay.
So coming up on today's show, Laura McCallum is going to have the news. Charting Man Dan is going to be here. Relevium Technologies Aurelio Useche is here. And looks like tomorrow we're going to have our friend Dan Nelson from WikiLeaf Technologies. So I'll just repeat all that tomorrow. Maybe not. Okay, let's go with Charting Man Dan and what happened with Chronos.
Oh, maybe we should do the news today.
I'm joined now by Dan McDermott from thechartguys.com. Dan, welcome back.
Glad to be back, James. Thanks for having me.
Dan, a very enlightening conversation before the segment started. Tell me about what's happening with Chronos Group shares.
So there's a lot of wild action going on with Chronos, and I highly suggest going to the Chart Guys YouTube channel because I did a video as it was happening after hours explaining my thoughts. But essentially, if I could sum it up, we had after hours price action that was intentionally running the price up, perhaps attempting a short squeeze. Before that, yesterday at middle of the day, CNBC had a highlight saying there's unusual cron options activity. $7.50 calls for January are seeing a whole lot of unusual volume. So that's the premise. Then after hours, we start to see the bids start walking up. And after hours volume 2 days ago was 40,000 shares traded. Yesterday was 4 million. So we saw a 5,000 share bid just walking up 5 cents. And I started seeing that happen. And I watched every single trade after hours go through. And as soon as that started happening and it started succeeding and moving the price because things are very thinly traded after hours, and $1 million after hours is going to go a lot further for moving the price than it would during regular trading. But then they started putting up 10,000 share bids, 50,000 share bids, and they capped it off with 500,000 share bids. And they walked the price from the close of $8.40 all the way up to the high of $12. And they had 1 million shares sitting on the bid at $11.50. Eventually that filled. Someone is sitting on 1 million shares of Chronos from $11.50 last night, and that position is currently down $2 million in less than a day. So I have no idea if this is, a lot of people think that might be news. I didn't think it was news because, in my opinion, if it were news, someone is literally raising their hand and saying, hey, SEC, come investigate us for insider trading. That'd be way too obvious. Obviously, insider trading happens all the time, but this would be under the spotlight having it happen. So from here, we have no news come out this morning. We had a higher open at 1050, which was a 25% or so higher open. and the market realized, hey, there's no news here, and dropped the price down to $9. We're currently trading up about 10%. It has provided a boost for the sector as a whole. The sector is up a nice 1 to 5% across the board. Even the USMJ names appear to be benefiting a little bit. But the bottom line is a ton of games were happening. The volume between after hours last night and today, this morning, it's going to be a week's worth of volume in just 2 hours worth of trading. So something's going on. I'm trying to speculate. I thought it was someone trying to induce a short squeeze to capitalize on their options that they bought yesterday. And in my opinion, they wouldn't care if they lost some money on the shares that they bought, because the money that they would make in the options would offset it. Other people were suggesting maybe they bought the options and then covered a short position of millions of shares. Either way, just watching these bids walk up, they're using probably at this point, I'd say about $30 million of bid support, and a ton of that has gotten filled. So there's someone now sitting on a few extra million shares of Cron in the last 12 hours or 20 hours. And it is the most unusual action I've seen in the MJ space.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, well, we'll wait and see what we get from the company on that. They've got to probably put out a statement of some sort at some time. Let's move on to Aphria. Aphria gave back most of what it gained on its financials. The questions surrounding distribution revenue and the statement by Irwin that the company was going to be achieving a $1 billion run rate by the end of calendar 2020. Both pretty intriguing developments in and of themselves. How did you play that?
So I actually didn't play it. Well, I did play it in the sense that I entered CGC as a bit of a sympathy play, just because we were so extremely oversold. I use RSI as an indicator for my trading, and I look back historically, and on the 4-hour time frame, CGC's RSI were at very clear historical bounce levels. Only one time in the last few years has it gone lower. So I was very comfortable starting to scale in. I knew I would be at risk to the correlation to what APHA's earnings reaction was. I anticipated that because we had dropped 18% in APHA the 3 days prior to earnings, that a bearish reaction would be mostly priced in, even if the numbers were disappointing. So I like that risk to reward. So I did benefit by trading CGC. But in the end, what it boils down to, what I like to do when I'm looking at a long, drawn-out downtrend, is I look back at the price and I say, okay, how many days worth of short positions are underwater on this move? And APHA had a very clear resistance at $5.53 on the US side, and the high of the day on the reaction after earnings was $5.54. So we double topped at that level and then pulled back. Had we broken that level, we would be able to say that anybody that entered a short position in the last 11 trading days would then be underwater. But we couldn't break that resistance. We pulled back and the shorts got some relief. So there's still a lack of pressure being put on shorts in this sector, and we must see a new support established on APHA and then a break of 554 if we're going to see any kind of trend change. And if that does not happen, the bears are going to keep their firm grasp on the chart and on the downtrend.
Wow. Okay, that's great. So now let's talk about the MJ sector generally. From my amateur seat here, I sort of sense a sort of a bottom seems to be developing here, and potentially a reversal. Does your sort of viewpoint support that?
In the short term, absolutely. We have oversold short-term bounces underway, but we've also seen this, 3 or 4 times in the last couple of months that just leads to lower highs, and then we roll over and drop to lower lows. So as always, I must see a higher low and a higher high to change the daily trends, because that's when we start seeing pressure put on shorts. That being said, it is, in my opinion right now, the exact opposite market sentiment compared to the euphoria that we were at all-time highs heading into legalization. We're seeing bears get greedy, in my opinion, and Cron bears almost got, a lot of bears seeing what happened with Cron after hours are probably seeing their greed drop off a little bit and saying, maybe I should lock in a little bit of profit if there's a risk that we could go 40% after hours. And obviously for shorts, it ended up being A-okay at this point, but I think a lot of people might double check their short positions because of that move. So I do believe that these shorts are getting greedy down at these levels. I do believe that We can see a daily trend change in the near term, but again, I will be very skeptical of bulls, and I won't even mention a 2019 bottom until we change the daily trend at a bare minimum. That's step number one.
Okay, well, and the S&P?
All bull. We're looking at all-time highs. We just had a reaction to some Brexit news pre-market. We are less than 1% from all-time highs on the S&P 500. During all these fear headlines, all these fear articles, recession talk, I just completely block them out, and I don't care about any of that. All I care about is the uptrend, and the weekly chart is in an uptrend, the monthly chart's in an uptrend, and the daily chart's in an uptrend. And if that's the case, I'm going to be bullish. If we break the weekly uptrend, I will change my tune in terms of being a market bull, but that's not looking likely at this point. We just had Netflix earnings, a little bit of a bullish reaction, so keeping things in line as far as the rest of the tech sector earnings that are yet to come that will have an influence on the market. But so far, so good for earnings season.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Dan, let's take a look at some of those charts.
So here's the 2-minute time frame after hours for Chron, where we see the huge move from 836 all the way up to 11.99. Here is where 1 million shares filled. There was a bid for $11.50 with 1 million shares. That filled. If someone went long 1 million shares, they are now down $3 million in less than 24 hours. Again, I have no idea what's going on right now, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense no matter which way we look at it. So then we saw pullback all in extended hours, and here's pre-market, the same thing. There were bids walking up the price to try and ensure as high a open as possible. And then as soon as the bell rang, the market said, okay, we'll show you what an efficient market is. There's no news, and you're telling us we're going to open 15% higher? There's all your shorts jumping in, your selling pressure, of bulls locking in profit, and then just like that, we erase the entire move and we pull back under the high of yesterday. So in the end, we're up 4% right now, and it did boost the sector. We've got CGC up 3%, we've got ACB up 5%, so it did have an impact. Hexo's up 15%, but it's really not a whole lot going on as far as what you would expect after watching yesterday after hours. So there's your huge volume. And while that volume does stand out, again, look back to where we were at all-time highs. And we have to remember that it's dollar volume that matters to us more than share count, because 1 million shares traded between 19 and 25 is way more than 1 million shares traded down here. So we had an average daily dollar volume back here for multiple weeks of about $500 million a day. And when today's all said and done, it'll be along the lines of $350 to $400 million on Chron. So yes, big volume, but we've seen it in the past, so it's nothing unheard of. So where we stand from here, we're going to be watching a 15-minute tight range that's been playing out all afternoon for a break, but I assume that after a couple days of high volume as things settle out, that unless we get some kind of news where we can point to it and say, oh, well, that's what was going on, we're just going to see time roll on, and we're going to move on to other narratives in the sector, and we're going to forget about what was going on here. If we don't get a clear news release answer, we'll probably never know, and we have to accept that. APHA earnings. So let's look back at the last earnings reaction. Huge gap up, huge volume, no trend change. We topped out, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we never got any follow through for the bulls. So here we are again, and this is what you call a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern, where this is the left shoulder. Our resistance is 553. We then drop to a lower low to form the head. We double topped at 554 and 553. And now we're trying to form the right shoulder, and then we have to break that double top to change the trend. Essentially what the inverse head and shoulders pattern tells us, it's just a trend change of lower highs and lower lows to a higher low and then a higher high. The pattern will only confirm, and we will only change the daily trend if we can hold the low of 423 and then break 553 to see that shift in momentum. If the APHA bulls do not break 553 in the next week of trading, it's a letdown and it's a failure for those bulls, and we'll be looking back down towards our recent lows. Here's the S&P 500, where we have a nice solid bull move up on the daily time frame. What I care more about is the weekly. I've been keeping it simple. Again, everybody's talking about the bearish articles and recession and all that, and it's important to pay attention to, but keep it simple. I have an if-then statement in this market. If we're in a weekly uptrend, then I am a bull. We are in a weekly uptrend. We've been in a weekly uptrend since our December dump 10 months ago. So as long as our most recent higher low on the weekly time frame holds of 284.82, if that level is support, I am bullish this market. Yes, you can hedge long-term portfolios with clear multiple tops of resistance approaching. Yes, you can make bearish entries as long as you have stops in place because you're fighting against the trend if you're making bearish entries, but just keep it simple. The trend is our friend, and when the trend breaks, you better believe my tune will change, but until that happens, I am a market bull. So a little bit of life in the MJ sector today. Disappointing for some that were hoping for some kind of news or some kind of follow through. But in this market environment, the bulls will certainly take it. And again, daily trend change on all major names are a must, and we don't have them yet. So it's going to take another week or two to see if the bulls can pull it off. If they cannot pull it off, it's the same old, and yes, we can absolutely drop to lower lows. It's always important to remind ourselves when the question is, can we drop to lower lows? Can we see lower prices? The answer is always yes. Unless we're trading at $0, the answer is always yes. And we have to keep ourselves in that mindset and keep reminding ourselves of that to remain protective and not make mistakes getting overly bullish while we're still in downtrends.
Thank you very much, Dan. And lightning as usual. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, James. See you next time.
You bet. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking on the little notifications bell. If you're interested in getting monthly actionable investment ideas in the cannabis space to your inbox, subscribe to the newsletter at MidasLetter.com. What do you think?
But he's right. It can always go lower unless it's zero.
Right.
It can go to zero. I mean, it sounds...
Well, and if they're interest rates, they can even keep going after that.
Well, there you go. We've seen that. Maybe stocks can go negative. How would that work?
Yeah. You know,
they're going to pay me to buy your stock.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Today we're going to do things a little differently. Here's the news.
Okay.
Here's what's making cannabis headlines this Thursday, October 17th, 2019. Halo Labs has closed a second tranche of the previously announced non-brokered increased private placement of Halo common shares at a price of 31 cents per share for additional gross proceeds of approximately $1 million Canadian. Halo previously closed a first tranche of the offering for gross proceeds of $3 million. The company is also increasing the size of the offering by an additional $1 million for new investors. Aurora Cannabis announced plans for the rollout of vapes, concentrates, and edibles when they are permitted for sale to consumers in December. The company has prioritized its resources to prepare for a successful initial launch that will support an ongoing replenishment strategy to help ensure consumers across Canada will have access to a diverse portfolio of high-quality derivative products they want to buy. 48 North Cannabis has signed an exclusive licensing agreement with US-based APCNA Holdings to bring its cannabis topicals brand to Canadian consumers. Apothecana is a US-based brand focused on organic topical formulations made without the use of artificial ingredients, fillers, parabens, or GMO ingredients, including products for pain relief creams, a skincare line, and sex oils. High Tide announced that its Kush Bar retail store, located in Morinville, received its first delivery of cannabis products from Alberta Gaming Liquor and Cannabis. The store will begin selling recreational cannabis products and accessories today. Neptune Wellness Solutions has entered into an agreement to provide extraction services to a large US-based farming services operation. Under the contract terms, Neptune will receive hemp biomass to be processed and transformed into crude oil extracts. The 2-year agreement could reach a total value in excess of $20 million. The first shipment of biomass is expected to arrive at Neptune's North Carolina facility in the coming weeks. And that's your news for today. To keep up to date with all things cannabis, visit the Cannabis Daily on MidasLetter.com.
She is very good, Ed. Neptune Wellness, so that's quite a deal for them. $20 million gig. Didn't really, looking at the chart here, doesn't really seem to be having much of an effect. 478. Yeah,
what is it? NEFT?
NEPT.
EPT. What's EPT?
EPT. Empty?
MD.
MT.
My money.
MT.
Okay.
My bank account. MT.
Now that's not doing too much here.
No.
Well, it's you know, a little bit here, a little bit there.
Anyways, I like the fact that like Dan cares more about the uptrend or the weekly trend than he does the day.
Well, he's not. He's looking for the main trends with. Look, if the trend is up, it's easier to to trade from the long side.
Well, I liked his if-then statement.
Yeah.
If the weekly trend is up, then I'm a bull. I'm a bull.
A bull?
A bull.
A bull.
Bull. No, we're
saying
not going to
bubble?
start rapping.
Bubble?
Rap.
Bubble?
Rap.
Bubble?
Rap. So, anyways,
Bubble wrapper.
there are.
Bubble wrapper.
So the one thing though that I would say is, Dan, very careful not to predict the future.
No, he's more of a reactionary kind of guy. Like he's waiting for something to happen, then take the other side.
He likes to take base hits rather than try to hit pop flies.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. He's a solid hitter. Anyways, so if you haven't, you can go check out Dan's site at chartguys.com. There's an interesting course there. Midas Letter is launching a educational portal. It's not really educational so much as it is video technical analysis on companies as they release their financials to basically every time a company puts out a financial statement in the cannabis space, Ed's going to do 2.5 minutes of technical analysis. I'm going to do a quick fundamental overview, and we will arrive at some sentiment, good, bad, or ugly, for your dining and dancing pleasure. If you're interested in receiving those videos, you need to subscribe at MidasLetter.com, and it's free at this point.
Free.
Free! Be free! Fly, be free! So, yeah.
Okay.
All right then.
So where does that put us?
Where are we at now? What's happening?
Well,
What's happening, Ed?
we're seeing some good bounces here.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, it is a 1 year anniversary. Anniversary?
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy
anniversary.
Yeah. And to commemorate the day, Aurora's tacked on what? It was up 25 cents a while ago. What's it up now? Let's take a look at Aurora. So Aurora's news was that it's planning its rollout of vapes, concentrates, and edibles.
Up 31, up 6.5%, 505.
Yeah, so it's on that news, arguably. So do you think that's the main catalyst in the marketplace, is the fact that all the news today is about, okay, edibles are legal, now they're going to come out in December, and then they're going to sell off in December when they actually hit the shelves like we did with legal stuff? So is this actually a pre-loaded down day into December?
You know what? I just look at the charts. I try to stay away from too much narrative.
You're jumping onto, I see, you're jumping onto,
keep it
you know,
simple.
You're on a show here though. We need narrative.
Oh, narrative. No, I'll give you a narrative.
I'll give you a
to
narrative.
To be or not to be.
That's a narrative? That's a performance.
It's a soliloquy.
A soliloquy. Boy, we didn't sign up for soliloquies. Do those cost extra?
I hang around Stratford on weekends, just so you know.
Stratford-on-Avon? Or Stratford down the road?
Stratford,
you're a Shakespearean fellow.
Yes.
Fascinating.
It's quite it's quite a Tony little town. I'm
surprised that the news doesn't include the intelligence that Dianamed defaulted on its debt.
What's the ticker for the little...
DYME.
Is that what it is?
Yes. Would you like to pull up a chart and take a look?
I would.
Yes, I would like you to.
DYME. Are you sure that? Is that on the CNX?
CSE.
Okay. In other words, CNX.
Well,
look
do
at
they
this.
still call it that?
Look at this. Oh, holding steady here at 15 cents. 9.5. I erred. Let's just see what the high is.
Oh, it's halted.
Is it halted?
It's halted.
Oh yeah, it would be halted.
Well, that makes sense. Wow.
So here's a 1 year. Let's take a look at a 1 year. So the high was around $3, came out around 3, less than a year ago.
Yeah.
Right around November, right?
Yeah.
And look at all this nice.
Well, on September 23rd, Flow Capital began legal proceedings against Dianamed because they were in default on a royalty agreement, and the stipulated claim is $2.7 million.
Do you remember how much they raised when they went public?
I do not.
Interestingly, would this be the first casualty of the sector?
This is no. I think that the first casualty of the sector was CanTrust.
Yeah, but it's still trading.
It's self-inflicted too.
But its market cap is still substantially more. Like this market cap's probably,
Well, this market cap has been decimated.
Look at this thing.
Yeah.
And no dead cat bounce, right? Like, I mean, this, look, I guess it bounced.
That is cardiac arrest. That's what you call that.
There's their bounce. And then a little bounce here. And then it's almost like you know how they have a picture of your heart?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's all of a sudden we go into flatline.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is cardiac arrest.
End of the line, flatline.
So the stock's halted. Do you think it was halted by the company or by the exchange?
Hey, you know what's trading today under the new rollback?
No, I saw that.
Huge.
That's right. We're going to go there next. But
Okay.
So do you think that the stock of Dionymed, though, was halted by the exchange or by the company?
Well, I think when you can't meet your, that's about as serious as it gets, right? Now, what are you going to do? I guess you could roll it back and say, okay, let's try and raise some more money here, pay
Yes.
off the thing. But any existing shareholders,
Right.
wow.
Going to get. Anyways, okay. So yeah, let's leave them alone for now because
Okay.
they're halted. Nothing anybody can do about that. Let's talk about FSD Pharma, which is trading today under the symbol FSDDD in the United States. FSDDD. That's 3 Ds for the
Is that like a triple D?
triple D.
I've heard of double Ds.
Never triple Ds?
Whoa.
I think we got a problem if you got triple Ds, or if you've got 3 double Ds, you've definitely got a problem. Triple Ds are just unprecedented, aren't they?
You know what? You're asking the wrong guy.
Is that
Maybe
right?
not. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe
asking the
not.
wrong
Okay,
guy.
let's not talk about that.
Jeepers creepers. So what is it? Okay, so Huge is now trading under FDDD.
FSDDD.
FSDDD.
You sound like a chickadee. And it is winter, and the chickadees DDs are back.
Oh, you know the chickadees are beautiful. I love the chickadees.
Especially the ones with triple Ds. What? You've never seen a bird with triple Ds? Come on, Ed. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know
here.
what I'm talking about either. All I know is this chart looks brutal.
Good thing.
Okay.
What does? Wow.
Trading at 678, down 92 cents, down 92 cents. It got rolled back 201 for one.
Why 201? Like,
think
is that just sort of some kind of like?
Magic.
It's like a one-liner.
Maybe it was like.
It's like a
maybe it's a
quickly-
good luck charm.
It's like a swiftly dealt one-liner.
Because maybe no one's ever rolled back, hired 200 for one. They said we're going to go
That's
back.
right. We are the biggest market cap ever traded on the CSE by number of shares. We're the biggest volume ever traded on the CSE. Now we're going to be the biggest rollback that ever happened on the CSE. I bet you that's what it is. You know what? Anthony Durkach is going to be here next week to talk about it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be here to tune in.
Well, actually, you're going to be here to talk to him too.
Look at this. Okay, here RSI.
Yes.
Here's you go. It's 11.74. Now that's as low as it goes. This,
The FSD RSI?
well, I've still got it under Huge.
Okay, so it's still trading under Huge in Canada.
Okay, but let me check the U.S. here.
You check the US there.
What is it? FS.
DDD. Like chickadee
Like
DD.
EDDD.
Triple Ds.
Jesus.
What, Ed? I don't like your tone.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
FSDDD.
well. Okay, opened yesterday. It got as high as 685. Mm-hmm. Right now, trading at 520. Only 2 days of action.
Really?
2 days.
2 days?
Okay, let's put up a 2-day chart. See what it looks like.
Okay.
Look at that.
So if the RSI is down below 11, did you say?
About 11. Yeah.
So that makes it a screaming buy,
Well,
technically.
that's why you got to remember there are some fundamental things you have to remember.
Oh, so now you want the narrative. Hey?
No, you
You want
just
the
can't
narrative
buy an
now, yeah?
RSI. Although, did you hear Dan?
What about an RSP?
That at the end of February. You can
What?
because it trades in Canada. You can contribute these shares into an RSP. Yeah, RSP. Okay.
Right. Okay. Looking at the chart. So FSD, so it's trading at $7.
Seven.
So its stock has gone from 7 cents to $7. But so if it was 200 for one when it was trading at 7 cents,
$14.
it should be trading at 4. So it's already lost half its value.
Well, I think it was a nickel, wasn't it? So it was like it should be $10. I think that's what we said. It was going to open around 10.
That's just like, doesn't that just make you sort of like stand there and stop and pause and go like, WTF? Like, what the hell? What is going on with this stock market? What is up with cannabis stocks? Like, cannabis is like its own particular curse that has come along and gripped the market and make it do all kinds of things that it's not used to doing.
You almost got sprayed there. Now, for all you people that like the nature lovers, you know.
I'll have to wear my visor when I'm talking to you and cracking jokes.
And I'm not
from
even
now
a
on.
skunk.
Right. Well, I'm sure it wouldn't have been any less pleasant than getting sprayed by a skunk, though I probably would have been able to wash it off a little easier.
Oh, God, I almost.
What happened?
Well, I went down the wrong hole.
Well, you're not supposed to breathe it. You're supposed to drink it. I'm sure you know that. Yeah, so welcome to the cannabis world, eh? Let's find some more stocks to pick on and see what's going on.
Well, let's think of one here that we've covered Chronos.
We have another guest, you know.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know who it is?
No.
Can you remember from the What's Coming Up Today role?
Yeah.
Who is it? Come on, Ed. Is it Steve White from Harvest Health and Recreation?
No, we saw him yesterday.
Okay. Is it? You should be asking me. I'm trying to get you to guess.
Okay. Is it Aurelio Ushka?
Aurelio Useche.
Useche. Well,
Aurelio Useche is here from Relevium Technologies, a stock, I will point out, that has put on 50% of value today, since it turned out that he's coming on the show. Here he is. Come on, look. I'm joined now by Relevium Technologies CEO Aurelio Useche. Aurelio, welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
Aurelio, let's start with a quick overview. What is it that Relevium Technologies does?
Yeah, so Relevium Technology has two business units. One is a natural product business, and we have 45 products in the market, mainly sold in the United States. Anything from turmerics, omegas, and so on, sold online through our brand Bioganics. Mm-hmm. Through that brand, we are just launching some CBD formulations with our existing formulations into the US market. So that business unit has become very centric around trying to leverage the CBD market in the United States. Mm-hmm. The other company that we have is called Cannabis. Cannabis is a biopharma company, vertically integrated. We have operations in Montreal where we do all the research that we're doing, and it's focused on pediatric applications of cannabinoid formulations. Yes.
Interesting.
And we have operations in Colombia, so we have a cultivation project in Colombia, we have extraction in Colombia, and more important, we have an entire ecosystem of medical and clinical talent, I guess.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to be doing and we're starting to do all the clinical and preclinical work for the new developments in pediatrics that we're doing.
I see. So the Colombian aspect, like we spend a lot of time in Colombia.
Yeah.
I love Colombia, and especially, cannabis in Colombia strikes me as so logical that it's ridiculous. So to what extent, so you've got these three sort of different divisions going on. Which one is the most lucrative for the near term?
So the near term, BGX, which is the over-the-counter health and wellness company, is the one that's producing revenues in the company, and we believe that in the short term is the one that is going to drive a little bit of the growth, leveraging CBD in the U.S. However, we're estimating that next year we're going to be in production in Colombia, and through the initial, so why we decided to be vertically integrated is that we would have some cash flows at the beginning. So when you're in pharma, there are no cash flows. There's a lot of investments over time, so we wanted to have some cash flows. Mm-hmm. So through the sale of extracts and so on and so forth from export, our Colombia facility will get into cash flowing for next year. So in terms of next year, if I have to look at it, I think both will pull their own weight equally.
All right. So is Relevium Technologies then primarily a biotechnology company?
I would say that we are a hybrid of consumer packaged goods, over the counter, leveraging CBD, but at heart, we're a biopharma focused on pediatric applications of cannabis.
Sure. Whereabouts in Colombia do you grow cannabis?
Cali.
Cali.
Yeah, Cali.
Interesting. We looked at an operation in the, I'm trying to remember the name of the valley there. That's just
The Cauca Valley?
Cauca Valley. That's just on the way there. We were looking at a company that was getting organized there. Beautiful country. So is the product that you're going to export from Colombia, will that be GMP certified so that you can export to Europe and everything?
EU GMP, exactly.
EU GMP,
Absolutely,
wow.
It's a must.
Yeah, sure. So this is, to me, very intriguing because your focus on pediatric applications for cannabinoids is an area that most people immediately have a cerebral knee-jerk horror to.
Absolutely.
Like children and drugs, what?
Yeah.
It's like, no. And I constantly have to remind people that THC generally only becomes psychotropic once you've decarboxylated it at a certain temperature, but the THC acid basically delivers a lot of the medicinal benefits of THC and cannabinoids and doesn't get people high. And some people just can't wrap their heads around that.
So THCA is being used right now for hyperactivity, for anything behavioral, and you're right, it just doesn't have a psychoactive effect until it's heated. We are looking at THCV for another application. It's a true pharma application, but it's a variant, so it's a little bit more difficult to extract and to control. So
Okay.
we may have to go non-plant derived.
Sure.
for
So you're
that.
using the explosion in the cannabis space basically to fund R&D in the pediatric application space. That's sort of one of the philosophies I kind of detect.
Correct. And so here's what's interesting. So while the market here has, I don't want to say imploded, but it has imploded. A lot of companies have seen their market valuations drop significantly.
We just say it's a discount.
Yeah, it's a discount, and I think
discount
the
sale.
whole market is shifting from promises and blue sky to actual performance and execution. So I think as we're seeing that, we're seeing investors outside of North America becoming more interested in this market. Case in point, Colombia.
Right.
So Colombia is a perfect market for us. Why? Because the country has legalized it. They have a legacy that has been very negative in terms of the drug trade and so on and so forth. So a lot of the well-to-do families there did not invest in the cannabis upside. Therefore, for us to be there locally and now driving medicine instead of driving drug trafficking, all that money is up there is very interested
Sure.
to join us and be part of this project. So we're very excited to be in Colombia, and I think it's going to be something very interesting for the company and obviously for the shareholders.
You bet. Are you Colombian?
I am Venezuelan.
Venezuelan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. We have so much to talk about outside of this. It's crazy. So when does the Colombian operation start producing a finished product?
So we are going into our first commercial grow probably around February or March of next year.
Okay.
We're going through a process of government validation of our initial pilot, and that takes several months.
Sure. So do you have the extraction infrastructure in place at this point, or is that still in progress?
We decided not to do it ourselves. So we have a joint venture with an Italian company, and they're going to set up, it's a unique technology. It doesn't use any solvents. So it's not CO2, it's not ethanol, it's not anything that we know. And they're going to set up the equipment, and we're just going to be working on the basis of a royalty.
Really?
They will operate it. Oh, it's amazing. So we're very, very happy
Is it
about
mechanically based or something? If it's no
It's
solvent?
they use enzymes.
Enzymes.
Some special enzymes
Okay.
that allow the extraction of the cannabinoids.
Not a solvent, enzymes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's super intriguing. Now I'm really excited to go and visit your operation because I've heard of almost everything in the cannabis space. That I haven't heard of. Okay, so there's so much going on. Are you in a position to market your performance-oriented products to Europe at this point with cannabinoids in them? Is that something that's possible given all the regulations?
It's complicated. So in the U.S., so let's start with Canada. So in Canada, as you know, CBD and so on, it's difficult. You have to be licensed. And so, I mean, we have something that we announced that we're doing an acquisition to enable us to do the selling in Canada. The U.S. is the easiest part in the market. And
CBD
that means
is just
that
allowed everywhere.
it's easier, but at the same, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of Me Too products. So the challenge there is to make sure that you use your own brand, a recognized brand, and sell to the market that you currently sell to. Now, if you look at exporting to Europe, the problem with Europe is, so we do have a partner in Europe, and we're able to put our product through, especially in Germany, we have segregated about 12 PZN numbers, so those are numbers that are required for any natural product to be put in a pharmacy. And so we will do it, we will enter into the market through our partners down there. So they have their own brand, and we're going to do a joint formulation and joint the development.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what would you say in 2020 are going to be the big drivers of success for the shareholders?
I think we're going to see the area of, so on the over-the-counter side is going to be some consolidation of our assets. So we have now a manufacturing facility in Montreal that we've been negotiating to acquire, and I think that's going to be instrumental in terms of the cost part and increasing our gross margins. We will see that in place and operating next year. And in terms of biocannabis, I think the initial value driver is going to be the cash flows from exporting extracts, the introduction of patents that we're currently working on, and the beginning of the clinical work that we have set up for 3 projects that we have in Colombia.
Okay, great. All right, well, Aurelio, let's leave it there for now, and we'll definitely have you back, and we would like to come and visit your facility in Colombia for sure as well.
Anytime, you're more than welcome.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking on the little notifications bell. If you're interested in getting monthly actionable investment ideas in the cannabis space to your inbox, subscribe to the newsletter at MidasLetter.com. This motherfuckers, Edward. Hi, everybody. Hey, if you're a CFA and you need a job and you want to work from home and get paid more than you make in your bank or investment company living as a salary. I don't know if you're going to make more in your investing, but boy, we have some pretty hot and cheap little deals come through here, which you will be welcome to. But my point is, if you need a job and you want to do some technical analysis and or some fundamental analysis, then you should come and work with us. And we don't actually
Have another drink, James.
have another drink. That's not me drunk. That's me, like, I don't know, like my mouth is swollen. I just came from the dentist. If I'm being drunk, I'd be like, I want to come work at a place that's really lots of fun, and you can get drunk at work. It's fine with us. Nobody here is going to
You can smoke all the pot you want.
smoke all the weed you want. You can learn how to roll. It's more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Let me just say that. But if you're a CFA and you're looking to make a change, come and work with the team at Midas Letter. That's my pitch for now. Anyways, what other news is going on? And no, we will not make you come on the show if you don't want to. But if you do, you'll get even more money. Woohoo! Okay, let's go back to the cannabis industry. And look at the resumes have started piling in already. This is quite amazing. Unbelievable. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be one hot position.
Yeah.
Hot position, I say, Edward. The cannabis industry. So what else happened in the cannabis space today that is representative of either a catalyst to the upside or a catalyst to the downside? This is my question. Well, cannabis edibles are now legal in Canada.
They're not, but you can't buy them until December.
That's right. Do you remember what happened the day that legal cannabis, recreational cannabis became legal in Canada? Do you remember what we did that day?
We went outside and smoked our doobie.
Exactly. So where's the edibles, mister?
They're not legal yet.
They're legal.
But you can't buy them.
Well, you can't buy them, but you had some.
We did?
You did. You ate them all.
Oh,
Remember we had those ones that were like 70 milligrams of THC each? No, you probably don't remember because you ate them all. You got so high we had to actually peel you off the ceiling. Boy, oh boy. I was at the El Macombo yesterday. The El Macombo being one of the most famous rock music, live music venues in all of Canada.
Didn't the Rolling Stones play there?
The Rolling Stones have played there. Bon Jovi has played there. Radiohead's played there. I mean, you were nothing unless you played the El Macombo back in the day. And the place has been renovated by Mike Weckerly and crew. And let me tell you,
They put a lot of dough into this thing?
I can't tell. I didn't ask about that, and they didn't tell me. But I heard through the grapevine. Heard it through the grapevine. I'm going to play at the El Macombo next. That he spent over $5 million. I'm going to play the. Whoa! Nice try, Edward. You tried to set me up and say something rude there.
No, I didn't.
I didn't
either.
I did not.
Me neither.
Boy, you know why a lot of people don't watch us? Because we're a couple of juvenile delinquents, I've been told.
JDs.
Isn't that a lawyer with a JD on the end of their name?
Yeah.
And that's what it stands for, juvenile delinquent.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Holy
Anyways,
smokes.
if you're a CFA who wants to come and be abused, no, just kidding. Supreme Cannabis's John Fowler launched a new podcast. Did you know this? Who? John Fowler, former CEO of Supreme Cannabis. He's got his own podcast now. I guess we didn't invite him enough.
Okay.
Or he just didn't.
Can we get him go on the show?
Well, I'm going to invite him on the show to talk about his new podcast. I haven't heard it. Actually, first I'm going to give it a listen, and then I'll invite him on the show, because now we have somebody we can pick a bone with if we want.
You ever heard this one? Listen, the cat's pissing.
Oh, that's just disgusting, Edward. That's why you have a JD at the end of your name.
What the other one is?
No more rude, no more juvenile remarks, okay?
No, something boring.
We're trying to elevate
snoring.
We're trying to elevate the intellectual resonance, the intellectual tone of this whole conversation.
We're doing that for sure, aren't we?
That's why we're getting some CFAs. You know what CFA stands for?
Crazy
Kentucky Fried Albert.
Albert.
You never had a Kentucky Fried Albert? How do you spell Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Oh, that's not a CFA, is it? Oh, boy, rudeness from the control room.
Whoa.
Anyway, so Supreme Cannabis's John Fowler's launched a new podcast called Session Garden. And it's hosted by, John's title now is Chief Advocacy Officer of Supreme. And I'll bet you it's funny and very insightful.
Okay.
Let's get him on the show.
Let's do it.
He says that it began as a way to show their appreciation to the dedicated cannabis enthusiasts who shared their respect for the plant. They noticed a lack of hard-hitting and insightful content focused on all aspects of the cannabis. Hey, wait a second. Is he saying there's an absence of hard-hitting? Anyways, we won't hold that against him. Well, John, love to talk to John about his podcast, and if you want to check it out, it's online at session.garden. It's even got its own URL. How about that? What else is going on in the cannabis space before we end this?
Look at weed going across at 27.39. We may be in a bona fide upward trend now.
Well, if we close the day upward tomorrow, that'll be 3 up days and 2 down days. No, it was only a 4-day week. It'll be 3 up days and 1 down day.
Okay, let's look at this weed chart here.
All right, here we go.
I'm going to put up just a 1 month. I want to just take a look. Click, click. Look at this. So there's the damage, and then we rallied, tested, and now we're going up higher. This may be what Dan, Charting Man Dan, talks about. We've sort of taken out the previous reaction high here. Yeah, I'll tell you, we may be on our way to $30 here in a very short run.
$30. Wow, where it was last week.
Look, you have to crawl before you can walk, mister.
Wow.
Hey, mister.
What do you have to do before you can bounce?
Jump.
Well, not if you just roll off a table.
Did you jump? A little at first.
Anyway, so
Okay.
lots of more good stuff coming tomorrow.
And we didn't even talk about the deal's been reached with Brexit. What are we doing here?
Oh, pity. Petty, we'll talk about Brexit tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll know whether it actually gets official ascendance or whatever. The DUP party's still being a bit of a twat when it comes to that, did you know? They're not quite on sign with it yet. Petty. Oh, Halo Labs is going to be here tomorrow. Bruce Campbell's going to be here tomorrow with the daily, not the daily, but the weekly Stonecastle Asset Management Cannabis Weekly Update. So we'll look forward to that tomorrow. Come and join us. Don't forget to sign up at the website if you want to check out our new video series, video technical and fundamental analysis at MidasLetter.com. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.